Welcome to the latest episode of the B Movie Club. I'm your host Kevin, and here is our faithful friend Tori over here. This week we'll be discussing the 1987 action classic Lethal Weapon, starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Gary Busey. The list goes on and on. For those of you joining us for the first time, and I don't know how that could possibly be.
I just invited a whole bunch of people.
You spread the word. Each week on the B Movie Club, we like to talk about certain guilty pleasures, forgotten classics.
Movies, too.
And movies, okay? What you can do is each week, you can follow me on Facebook, Original B Movie Club. Give me the big thumbs up, and you'll get all of our latest updates. I'll tell you what movie we're doing. You can send me your movie suggestions, any favorite scenes, favorite quotes, anything else you want to get off your chest. You can also subscribe on YouTube. Click the subscribe button. It's absolutely free, just the cost of your time. Time is money, so I guess there is a cost. I don't know. You can also follow me on Twitter at KD9575 if you want more of an immediate response. You know what I'm saying?
Exchange. It's a good trade. It's a good trade.
That's what I'm saying. Lethal Weapon. Tori, can you tell us briefly what Lethal Weapon was about?
Briefly? Yeah, so there's these two guys.
That's brief. Thank you very much.
Well, so you've got the Danny Glover character.
Roger Murtaugh.
50, a very good-looking 50. I hope to look at 50 when I'm 40.
Right, exactly. It's the new 30.
And so he's this salty police officer, and then you get a little shot of Mel Gibson.
He's a Martin Riggs.
Struggling with some inner turmoil.
He is.
Yes.
He is.
And so they get paired together, and all heck breaks loose.
Well, you may want to sit down, because
Spoiler?
one is a loose cannon, and one's by the book. Okay? So they have kind of that immediate friction. Okay? One keeps their hair kind of closely cropped, one has a mullet. So you know there's going to be problems. One wears a tie, one wears jeans. It's like oil and water.
One wears cowboy boots, the other penny loafers.
Exactly. So they're not a good match, or so we think.
Oil and vinegar.
Oh, vinegar and water.
Oh, that's it.
So there you have it. Martin Riggs, his wife recently died in a car accident, so he's kind of suicidal, what we discover. He also is basically a trained killer from his time in Vietnam, in Laos. He is like a sniper. He's excellent with his guns. As Danny Glover says, he knows all that Tai Chi and killer stuff. As far as I know, Tai Chi is that stuff that people do in the park. But
it's over, you know.
What is? Oh, yes or no. Mel Gibson, as you know, he's from Australia, so at times a little bit of Australian accent kind of trickles in. I didn't know Australia was involved in the Vietnam War, but hey, why quibble? The main conflict comes from these other Vietnam types, these killers from Special Forces guys who are involved in the heroin trade. So all sorts of stuff going on there. Two cops, crazy army of mercenaries against them. What can happen? Okay, only good stuff. Only good stuff. And we get to see it front row. What are some of your reactions from the movie? Favorite scenes?
My favorite scenes, the beach parking for your mobile homes, very good.
Yeah.
Oh, so I think what Mel Gibson's character,
Martin Riggs. Yep.
The embodiment of his characters is when he's at the rooftop with the jumper, and they share a smoke, have a joke, but he handcuffs himself to the jumper. Says, "You want to jump?" And he's going all
crazy. Do you really want to jump?
Doing the eyes,
right?
The twitching, and you get that with the hollow point bullet. He's going to kill himself. Well, anyways, you get a lot of Mel Gibson crazy eye, and he handcuffs. And he forces the jump, and he gets down, and he tells, well, you wanted me to control the jump, and crazy.
I got the job done.
I think those 2.5 minutes were the golden Riggs. And then, I don't know, he's a magician. What can I say?
That's right. It is dynamite. There are a lot of things in this movie that we come to accept as kind of cliche.
You take for granted the skilled shot of rolling, tumbling shot.
Right, the barrel roll.
The barrel roll.
The Mel Gibson copywritten barrel roll while I'm shooting as I roll on the ground. No one else was even thinking about that. The car chase that takes place on foot, courtesy also of Mel Gibson doggedly deciding, I'm going to chase you. You drive away.
Down.
I'm going to chase you on foot.
Uphill.
Uphill.
In cowboy boots.
Yes.
So
he's very quick. Nobody's that fast, as they say in this movie. But yeah, like I said, there's the other cliches, the loose cannon cop with the by the book cop. There's the I love this job. There's the I'm too old for this. Beep. That stuff. All that originated in Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon's not the first buddy cop movie, but I think
Turner and Hooch, right?
Turner. It's obviously Turner and Hooch. I think we can all agree. It was Willie Tyler and Lester. Was the original. Okay, thank you. I'm going back to the old school. I was got the puppet.
No.
On solid gold. Okay. Anyway, so you have that. This was Mel Gibson had been in a few movies up to this point. This was really, if you think about it, we think of Mel Gibson as being kind of an action star, but he really was just in two series of action movies. He was in the Mad Max movies, and he was in the Lethal Weapon movies. All the other movies he did were pretty much kind of drama, things like that. But he had already kind of made a name for himself as being a big star. Danny Glover was kind of a lesser-known actor who he had just done The Color Purple a few years before. He was the villain, or one of the villains, in Witness with Harrison Ford a couple years earlier. This really put him on the map. And when they went and read for this role, they just had crazy chemistry. Richard Donner, who produced this and directed it, talked about how they just got him in the room together and they knew these were their actors. Interestingly enough, Roger Murtaugh, Danny Glover's character, at no time in the script is it written that he's an African American. That was a choice they made based upon Danny Glover's performance, which I think was dynamite. I think it added a whole other level to their performances.
And Gary Busey just brought the crazy and then acted like he wasn't, but he was.
What's funny is, watching this movie, we watch a lot of Celebrity Apprentice in my house.
Okay.
And Gary Busey is certifiable. He looks like a psychopath. He looks like something out of a nightmare. But then you go back and watch his performance in this movie, and he's great. He is great. Granted, it's not Shakespeare, but he really played the role. He was scary in an entirely different way. You know what I'm saying? As like a trained killer, not as like a crazy homeless man. So that's something. The script was originally written by Shane Black, who went on to write The Last Boy Scout. More recently, he wrote and directed Iron Man 3. This was actually the first script he wrote right out of UCLA. So there you have it. These movies are great because it does deal with the pathos. He's kind of struggling with basically having a death wish because his wife died. Danny Glover is just turning 50. Not really. He was actually just turning 40. But his character was turning 50, so they gave him a little...
Clinging on to life.
He was at death's door. So they had that thing. 2 weeks to retirement. One of those things.
And the scene where he's testing Riggs to see if he really is suicidal or if he's just trying to collect crazy pension or something.
Right, psycho pension, as they call it. I don't know if that's just a euphemism. Hopefully they don't really call it that. And I love the scene where Danny Glover calls up the psychiatrist. What can you tell me about Riggs? She's like, well, let me get out his file and I'll read it to you. I'm like, is there no?
Verbatim.
Is there no doctor-patient privilege? I guess not. No can do.
When you're paying $1.99 per minute back then on this box phone,
right?
You're
back in '87,
you
you basically had to carry around a briefcase to talk on your cell phone. Okay, so there you have it. Good times had by all. There's a lot of other things in this movie. We liked it so much. We watched it yesterday. I actually dusted off Lethal Weapon 2 and watched that as well. Another one. Even if you've seen these movies, which we all have, I highly recommend you rushing out and watching it again. People ask me, are these really B movies? Probably not. I mean, they were successful.
They be movies.
They be movies, homie. They're very successful. People still think of them fondly, in spite of the fact that Mel Gibson has basically become Gary Busey, a crazy, racist, anti-Semite homophobe, allegedly. Lawyers, don't come calling me. You know, I still like the movies. I'm sorry. I did Rosemary's Baby a few weeks ago with Roman Polanski directed it, so I figure I can do Mel Gibson's Lethal Weapon. So there you have it. Good times. My depravity knows no bounds.
Well, you did Weird Science, and that's A-list.
That's A-list.
You're pushing the boundaries
Hey.
on all borders.
So there you have it. Anything else you want to get off your chest about Lovely Lethal Weapon?
Oh yeah, well, it's a great intro to the, you get your money's worth in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
You can just leave after the first 5 minutes. You're good to go. That's what you're looking for, the nudity. They hit you with that right out
the
the gate.
80s obligatory nudity. It's there.
In the 80s, we forget how many more R-rated movies there were in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like now every movie they wanted to be PG-13. So in the 80s, every movie had nudity. Every movie had like 15 F-bombs being dropped in it. Racial insensitivity. There's no political correctness. Okay? Good times.
Just trying to pat down you after the explosion.
That's right.
Just wants you safe.
That's right. I mean, that's just how they did it. It was a simpler time. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask no questions. So there you have it. I highly recommend it. It currently has an 83% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. If you haven't seen it, what cave have you been living in? It is not streaming instantly on Netflix, I'm sad to say. So you're going to have to dig out your old copy, blow the dust off, and watch it. Like I said, it is great action. It has comedy in it. One of my favorite scenes is when they're sitting at the gun range talking about their theory of what happened in the crime, and their little go-between.
Sure.
And then...
It's pretty thin.
And then... I like thin. Thin's my middle name. With your wife's cooking. And then he shoots the bullseye, and then Riggs pulls out his gun and does a happy face. Shoots it. That was a great scene.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. So there you have it. Next week, I'm going to be going to the horror genre, and this is available streaming instantly on Netflix. Some people don't have Netflix. If you don't,
they should blow the dust off their Netflix.
that's what I'm saying. We're going to be doing a horror classic, Ghoulies,
Nice.
from the 80s, one of the first PG-13 movies. So there you go, speaking of PG-13 movies. So check that out. As always, send me your favorite scenes, favorite quotes, any comments and questions you have, any movie suggestions. Again, you can reach me on the original B Movie Club on our Facebook page. You can reach me through YouTube. It's just Kevin D. That's me. Also, you can tweet me at KD9575 every week.
So Ghoulies is where Gremlins and Chud had a baby.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Little known fact, around that time, the thing to do was, why have a big, grisly, scary monster? Let's have a lot of little ones. Little puppet, little muppet chasing after you, maybe a little marionette, something like that. Whatever, that's cool. So you had Gremlins, you had the Ghoulies, you had Chucky,
yeah.
the Munchies, if you remember that one. That was good times as well.
Got it.
As you know, I end every episode with a totally out of context quote, and here it is. Have you ever met anybody you didn't kill? Thank you for joining us. Special thanks to Tori for driving all the way down to the palatial B-Movie estate. We'll have to do it again, perhaps on Skype in the coming
We'll see.
weeks, days,
Have
and
to
years.
Blow the dust off, please.
Blow the dust off. It's not just a euphemism anymore.
It is an 80s reference.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Next week, The Ghoulies, starring, your guess is as good as mine. Be well.